Back with another episode of Franchise Envy, where I speak to happy, successful franchise owners.
Up next,
Year.
And you won an award, the Rookies of the Year, when you first started almost 6 years ago. And you recently won another award.
Franchise of the Year for all of Conserva. That's right.
Dawn's philosophy is find something that you love and it won't feel like work.
We're called the 4-pack, and all the other franchises will always say, well, if I had 4, I could be doing the 2.5 million.
Shh, don't tell anybody about it now. It'll be the teaser for next time. This is Lance Graulich, your host, and today I have Dawn and I have Pam. They are sisters. Do not adjust your video. No, they're not twins, although they do look alike. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, I am excited to talk to you. Successful, happy franchisees, my favorite topic. How did you two get involved with Conserva Irrigation? What were you doing before, and how'd you find them?
I'll start with that question because my husband was the person who actually found Conserva. We moved to Myrtle Beach and he was looking for something. He had a job with a landscaper, and the landscaper did not do any maintenance on irrigation, and he found that nobody was really doing a good job at that. And so he started investigating companies, and he found Conserva as a franchise.
I
And so
I
that's
love
how it
that.
got
So
started.
he knew there was a problem. He knew there was a
Yes.
problem that he wanted to fix. So
right. That's
how did
right.
a franchise become the solution?
Well, he was in business before on his own with Pam as his accountant and working that way. And when we moved to Myrtle Beach, I was not interested in starting something from scratch. And so that kind of drove him to look for franchises and what would work. And he found a franchise that actually did irrigation and maintenance, installation and maintenance. And so that's how that worked.
Awesome. How did Pam get involved in this? You roped her
Well-
into this.
So Bill and I have worked together many years together. Awesome team that we always put in place and tackled a construction management company. We sold it back in 2014. And so I was doing my own thing. Bill was doing his own thing. And Dawn and Bill presented this idea. And we were like, well, we're interested. So talk to us about it. And knowing that Bill and I had always worked very well together, we wanted in on it. And so we loved the idea of something that was already proven, something that we could build upon. There was already a model in place. And we weren't trying to reinvent the wheel or start from scratch, like Dawn said. It was something that we could take and grow and make it as big as we wanted it. And the sky's the limit for us.
And now you're award-winning franchisees. You've been in Conserva how many years now?
Well, going on our 6th year right now.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just starting our 6th year.
and you won an award, the Rookies of the Year, when you first started almost 6 years ago, and you recently won another award.
Franchise of the Year for all of Conserva. That's right. Very
job.
exciting. Very exciting.
Very
Good job.
exciting, and it came at a time where we were like, oh my gosh, we work our tails off. We love what we do, so it doesn't always feel like a job. Dawn's philosophy is find something that you love, and it won't feel like work. And she is exactly right. There are some days where we put in long hours, but we have the best vacations together. We go to these recharge conventions or our annual meeting. We have the best family within our franchise, and we love it. Absolutely love it. We highly recommend
I
it.
talk often about your franchise family. People not in a franchise have no idea. But
Yeah.
there's so much collaboration when you get into a
That's
franchise.
exactly
People seem to think it's this sort of dictation from an ivory tower somewhere. But there's collaboration with franchisees. There's sharing of best practices.
Definitely. That's one of the biggest things that we love about it. When we go to our conferences, and it's not just the conferences, we have a Facebook page or Facebook site that's called the Water Tap, and we're sharing things all the time. When we have a problem with a piece of equipment and we need to replace it, we ask for advice. What's your best equipment to do with this? I mean, it's really cool how we all work together to help each other out. So that's what I love about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So talk about, was size a factor when you were selecting this particular brand? Because I have people, myself being a franchise broker, I have people that come to me, yeah, I want something like McDonald's that's really proven. Well, we all know that McDonald's you're not going to be able to get today. So you have to go with something that's smaller, that has availability. But was size a factor for you too?
It wasn't. I don't. When Bill was looking around and trying to find a franchise, and he was looking in different areas, not just the industry of irrigation or maintenance or whatever, but that was where he was drawn because of his background being landscape architecture. He came across a couple of options, and Conserva, he kept being drawn to that. And at that time, I don't even know what Conserva's size was at the moment that he was looking. I mean, we eventually, I think we got in the like 40, maybe close to 40.
I think it was like 38.
38, yeah.
Like that.
And so that was our number when we started. But we were so drawn to it when we went to our confirmation day to see if we wanted to do this together. He and I went. And I tell you, when I left the building that evening, I high-fived him and said, I think you found a home run here with the people and the support, and they walked us through everything. And then that's when Pam and them were talking, well, what are you doing? And they went to do their own confirmation as well. And same thing. So we told them, you need to go. You need to see what they're doing. And I think, I don't want to speak for Pam, but I think that's how they felt too.
We did, 100%. We left that building and we were like, oh my gosh, we're in. I mean,
Yeah.
We loved the support staff. We loved the brand. Immediately we felt that family connection with them. Their energy was contagious. We just felt like this was definitely the place for us. And whether it was a God thing or whatever, I totally 100% don't regret it 1 minute. I am thankful that Bill did that due diligence to find it. I think Conserva now is up to 78 locations nationwide, so it continues to grow and build, and we're just growing right along with it.
So it sounds like everything was so easy. Clearly, there's a blueprint. There's a plan. What was the really hardest part in launching for both of you, or all of you?
So
Well,
you go ahead, Dawn.
We taught, the interesting thing was our timing. Our timing for us was probably when it happened was like terrible, which we started right on the beginning of COVID. And so for us, it was like we were just freaking out. What are we going to do? Are we going to shut the doors? I mean, we already had the vans, we had technicians, so we were ready to go, and then they were shutting everything down.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my gosh. But the wonderful thing was, as people have seen now, looking backwards, is that people went home and had to stay at home. So what do? You're looking for home projects to do, or things that you find that are problem for you. And so it actually was a launch for us. Instead of a pull back, it was get rolling. People were calling. And so that first month and a half to 2 months was scary. We were just like, we didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, nobody knew. Nobody knew what was going on. It's like...
That's right. We were the highest... first year Z too, and I think it was just, I think we were blessed. COVID was going on, but yet we were able to work right through it where a lot of people couldn't, and so it was a good thing.
So let's talk a little bit about money, because everybody listening to successful, happy franchisees want to know that you're not a nonprofit. You want to make money doing this, right?
Yes, yeah.
So what was the investment? When you first got started, you got into a few territories, and what did it cost you?
So we started out, we bought 2 territories right off the bat. Well, I say that, let me back up. We
Yeah.
bought a territory, and then they determined that our territory was too large and that it needed to be split into 2. So we ended up with 2, which was fine with us. You know, we market from, you know, the North Carolina coast all the way down the coastline of South Carolina. And so we knew that we had to make a good size investment. We did not want to nickel and dime this. We wanted to put good money after it. We wanted to grow it as quickly as we could. We knew that the best way to get the return on our investment was to move forward. Don't start out with one van with one technician and then say, okay, when I hit a certain threshold, I'll expand that. So I would say approximately $200,000. All in, because we wanted to, like I said, we had to look for an office space, we had to have our vehicles, we had to hire, we had to go out and recruit that staff, get that staff trained, stock our warehouse. So we wanted to have operating capital. We knew that it wasn't going to, the revenues weren't going to, you know, come crashing down the door. It was going to take time. And so we knew that we wanted to set ourselves up for success. We are 100% believers that as a franchise owner, follow the plan, follow the play, listen to what the experts are telling you. Don't deviate or try to reinvent it. If you want to do that, start your own company. Don't buy a franchise, because a franchise means they've already figured it out. They know those best practices, and if you follow them, you will be successful.
And we also believed in the brand, what it stood for in the conservation side too. Because of that, the conservation aspect of it and saving water and not wasting water. Most irrigation systems waste water. They don't evenly disperse the water across the yard, and then you end up with dry spots, and that causes people to add more minutes to their controller and all of those factors. And so that actually, when Bill was looking for a franchise, I meant to say that earlier, that had a big factor in for both of us too. That we're doing the right thing, you know, with when it comes to irrigating.
Well, you do the right thing and you can make some money. So this is the show me the money segment now. So you just finished a year where you did 2.5 million, something like that?
That's correct.
That
Amazing.
is correct.
Amazing. So you did 2.5 million. What kind of margins? I'm sure, you know, there's a lot of accounting prowess on this team. So you're looking at the net income and things like, I mean, is this a business you can net 15%, 20%? I know different franchisees will operate differently. What are your thoughts on that?
That is correct. So, you know, it depends on what you want to pull out of it, how much of a ownership you want to pull out of it. Do you want to leave it in there to continue to grow? Do you want to take that money out because you need it for your own livelihood? That's one thing that I think that we've done very well at. We've tried to continue to grow our business by leaving additional funds in to allow us to do that. So a net of 20% is amazing for us. It's where we want to be. It's where we are right on the cusp of being. So, yeah, that's kind of where it's at. We do enjoy the benefits that owning a franchise gives us. So those little bennies, you know, come into play. But yeah, so I feel like we're doing well with that.
So 2.5 million in revenue, 20% net. You're a top franchisee. You are top franchisees, I should say. What is next on the revenue front? I know you've expanded through commercial, but what's next? You're shooting for 3 million?
So a funny story, before we found out that we won Franchise of the Year, we were having our meeting. We have a mini meeting every fall to set our goals for the next year, to decide where we're going to go, what we're going to do, are we going to, you know, expand, whatever the case may be. So we had set our goal for 2025. We hit that goal last year. And that was going to be our goal for 2025. And we're like, oh, well, we got to redo all this. We need to bump it up. And I was like, no, can we just leave it where it is and just be happy when we exceed it? So we do set those goals every year. We try to be realistic about those goals. We don't want to not meet them, but at the same time, we want challenge. We want to challenge ourselves. So how can we expand?
It's very much the challenge. We are a competitive group of four pack. So we are always wanting to push our capabilities to the limit each year. We joke about, well, we're not spring chickens, so we need to get on with it, and
Right.
so retire someday. And so we're pushing it every limit that we can do. I mean, we've won every award I think that they've offered for Conserva. You know, whether it be commercial sales or whether it be customer service, drainage, irrigation. I mean, we've been in the top typically every year. So
one thing that we did decide too, that we are on the groundbreaking, if you will, of it is the commercial aspect. So when we first started Conserva, it was primarily residential. They didn't even really want you to focus on irrigation at that time. So since then, installation, I'm sorry. So since that time, the installation has become very big, very prevalent. Everybody is installing as well as maintaining. And then my husband was one of the ones saying, we got to get into this commercial market. This is where some money can be made, whether it's HOAs or commercial properties, whatever the case may be. So we won this year, #1 in commercial sales, exceeding $1 million. And this was unheard of. It had never happened before. And so now we find ourselves being mentors to the other franchisees who want to break through this market, teaching them our tried and true practices of how we were able to accomplish that, the do's and don'ts, the advice that we can offer to help them grow and expand. And so now commercial is becoming very much a topic of, let me get in that arena. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And I want to add something to that with the commercial side. The interesting thing is, I think that on commercial, people are looking for a landscaper that's going to maintain their landscape and their irrigation. That's the ticket. That's the hard part to solve in breaking the two apart and saying landscapers aren't the experts when it comes to irrigation. That's secondary to them. And we were showing a lot of value to, Jay, because he was leading that charge, showing a lot of value in why you should separate the two, because we only deal with irrigation. We do not do installations of plants and maintaining your mowing your grass and stuff when it came to the commercial. And so he was showing the value in that, and people have really started to pick up on it and realize they're not seeing my broken head over here that's gushing water every time I'm getting these high water bills, or ignoring those things. And so that was in my mind a big key that helped set that in its trajectory up forward.
Yeah, great stuff. So when it comes to franchisees that maybe don't perform as well as you, in every franchise organization there's the top tier that are outperforming, and there's always that bottom group. What are the biggest mistakes that you think other franchisees might make in a franchise?
I think that they fail to follow the plan. Mm-hmm. I think that they don't anticipate the level of commitment that is required, the hours that you have to put in to be successful, the financial aspect of it, making sure that you are ready and you are set to have that commitment, and growing slow. They're not seizing the opportunities, I don't feel like, and I don't feel like that they necessarily are following the play. Dawn, you could probably talk about the marketing aspect as well.
Yeah, I'm going to add something before that, but a big thing to me is that it's a seasonal market. You have to be able to weather the off season. And people don't understand that. I mean, if you're in Florida, and even in Florida or Texas or places like that where you think it's warm all the time, it's not. And even those numbers will dip in the off season. So I think that people don't understand how big is my off season. And that's where you're really trying to figure out what best to do. We always kept thinking that maybe commercial, if we could convince commercial to people to let us run through your system during the off season, that would help keep us rolling. Installation helps keep us rolling as well. But you have to find those things when you're talking about irrigation. Obviously, if you're flipping burgers and you're at McDonald's, that's not seasonal. But in this market, it is. And so people, I think, that would be one of the things that they would realize. Oh, I didn't think about that. I need to hold on some of that money I made to get me through, and that type of thing.
I would disagree that with McDonald's, I do have a season. I fatten up for the winter.
One thing too that I'd like to add to that point is the other piece about being a seasonal business, if you will, is your personnel. You don't want to have to continue hiring brand new people every year to retrain them because you can't afford to keep them during the off season. So coming up with a good plan on how you can utilize your staff during your off season, save some of these big projects like Dawn was saying for installs for the off season so that you keep them gainfully employed. We try to mentor them and coach them about, you're making good money right now. This is March, April, May. Remember, December, January, February is going to be right around the corner, and so you need to manage your money. Just as well as we have to manage our money as the owner, our technicians have to learn how to manage theirs. And so we do try to mentor them and provide them guidance on the culture and how you can best do that. So because you don't want to have to retrain, you want that retention of those employees. You don't want to have to start over every single year.
Great advice for sure. I want to go back to your roles and responsibilities because people listening might be like, wait a second, there's 4 of you. We have Dawn and Pam, and we have the hubbies, but Pam, you're not even in the same town.
No, I am not.
Talk about how those duties are divided up.
Sure. So I am, my husband and I live in North Carolina, not South Carolina, where our business is located. I work remote because I deal with the accounting and the schedulers and things dealing with corporate. So it's very easy for me to sit in North Carolina and do my job. If I'm needed, then I can certainly travel. It's 2 hours away, so it's super easy to jump down there. My husband deals with all the commercial and the HR. So he does travel to Myrtle Beach more frequently than I do, but he still has another job, so he still does that as well. And then Dawn, I'll let you talk about you and Bill.
Yeah, well, I handle the marketing, boots on the ground issues that happen around here, and I do all the sales for new installations.
Well, and by the way, Dawn, this is because you have all this landscaping experience, so you know all this, right?
No, I knew none of this other than my architectural side of what I've got my degree in.
Yeah.
But I was game for it all. No marketing experience, no sales experience, and so that's the beauty of a franchise. They help you, they grow you, and I've learned how to do a bunch of things I never thought I could have ever done. And so those are the things that I do. And then Bill, he actually is the knowledge. He is the knowledge of the irrigation, of landscapes. When people are talking about soils and things like that, he's got that capability. And he's been a business owner multiple times, so he's got that knowledge as well. And so he was the brains of the startup here. So and we tease, I have to say, we're called the 4-pack. And all the other franchises will always say, well, if I had 4, I could be doing the 2.5 million. And we're like, yeah, but you have somebody, because you're not doing it all. I mean, you have to have an accountant, you know, that kind of thing. I said, and if you are trying to do it all, it will go at a slower pace. I have to say, I think it would go slower than what our capability was by having the divide and conquer concept.
Ladies, you've been fabulous. Let's share with the audience one bit of wisdom that you would say is your cornerstone of success. Go ahead, Pam, you first.
I'm going to go back to follow the play. Follow the plan. Do what they guide you to do. Don't try and reinvent it. You can put your own spin on it. You can say, I think that I would like to do more marketing, or I would like to do XYZ. Follow the plan with minimal modifications and you will be successful.
Dawn?
Dang, I was going to say the same thing. But I will say this for us. Like I said, there's 4, and you would think that sometimes with 4 people, it's going to be more problematic because everybody has an opinion. How do you break a tie if you're not agreeing? And so we came up with a process for tiebreakers, and it rotates. So when we vote, the baton stays in someone's hand for a quarter of the year, and then the baton changes. And right now we've never had to use the baton, I will have to say, but we set that up in the beginning of making us successful because we knew if we're all equal partners, we got equal number. So we may end up 50-50, and how do we decide? And so that's been something that I think was really cool that we thought of ahead of time. But she took mine. It really is follow the plan. I mean, these people that created Conserva, they had a vision, and by the time we entered, they had gone through a lot of growth, I'm sure pains in making it happen. And by the time we got in, it was a well-oiled machine, and I have not seen many hiccups. And I will say, we also have a franchise advisory board, and Jay has been the president of that board for multiple years, voted in by his peers to lead the franchise, and that is very successful in helping mold the franchise. So if we find problems as franchisees, they go to the board and they talk about it, and then they affect change that way. And I think that's a really neat process.
This is awesome. Ladies, thank you so much for sharing your story. You're both fantastic. And on the next episode, when I have you two back, we'll talk about the other franchise that you got into already as well. But shh, don't tell anybody about it now. It'll be the teaser for next time. But thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you're ready to talk about franchise opportunities, hit the link below to schedule a call. My services are free, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for listening.